This is TWiT.
So this was a really interesting study that they did about satisfaction for iPhone 10 owners. And specifically, like, I don't have a lot of experience with customer satisfaction surveys, but what they said is it's pretty amazing. Not only that it was 97% satisfaction, but 85% said that they were very satisfied.
Yeah, these are huge numbers. And you know who loves customer satisfaction, or as we like to say, customer sat? Tim Cook. Tim Cook, all he can talk about is customer sat. We have a little, it's basically the Tim Cook drinking game, which is you have to drink when he says customer sat. But Apple's customer satisfaction numbers, which is a super important measure, right? Because that's, as far as Apple's concerned, like, they sell you a product, and if you're happy with it, they win. It's that simple. Their business is that simple. And the iPhone 10 satisfaction number is staggering. Like, those are very, very good numbers. And Apple usually leads in customer sat, but this is a case where they're way up there. But then, what about Siri?
I know, look at that.
Not so much.
Well, so the number one, if you're just listening, is how your iPhone 10 looks. So that's almost 100%. That's like the most satisfied. People are most satisfied with the way it looks and least satisfied with Siri. And in between is then the speed, the quality of your pictures, the OLED display, the gestures. I was surprised at the gestures being so high. I guess I like them. I just don't like them that they're not.
And these are all over 90% satisfaction too. Face ID is over 90%. Battery life is over 90%. And then there's Siri down at about 20%. Brutal.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it's not a surprise. And what do you buy that sort of argument that people make is like the reason it's not good is because they're protecting our privacy?
No, I mean it's not a. I get it, and it means that Apple's challenge is different than maybe Google, but I don't believe it. I think the things that Siri is bad at. I mean, Apple has talked about how they try to do a lot of differential privacy, where they're able to do machine learning without actually, you know, keeping your data. They anonymize it in a bunch of different ways. But this is the game that they have chosen to play. I think they can do a good assistant without, you know, compromising your privacy, and they just haven't done it. I think the key is that Apple values hardware and maybe hardware and software integration, and has never really considered services and machine learning and the cloud a core part of what they are culturally. And even when they know that they need to pay attention to the cloud, culturally they're not. Their company is not even structured to reward that. Now that may be changing. They've made some moves. They made some hires. They've got somebody in charge of cloud services. They brought in Google's AI lead to do AI at Apple. So maybe that's an indication that they're trying to change the culture. But, you know, they're behind not because they're committed to privacy. They're behind because they haven't done as good a job as their competitors.
What about the fact that they asked too much of Siri in the beginning? They didn't ask, but they claimed too much. Like, you know, I think about a month ago, one of the creators of Siri came out and said, you know, it was only supposed to do, you know, this and this, help you find restaurant reservations. And then Apple came out and touted it as this great personal assistant. And then, you know, people were disappointed because it didn't live up to what Apple said they could do. And the creator said, well, it never could do that.
Yeah. Siri pays a price for being first. Like, Siri was first. Everybody was excited about it. Apple got a lot of benefit from that, but they paid the price because they were based on the earliest tech. And yeah, I'm sure there are sour grapes from the people who were at SRI, the source of Siri, because they had a vision for it that didn't match Apple's vision. I'm not sure that just because they invented Siri, they had a realistic view of where it was going to go. I think that you could look at both sides with some skepticism about what they said at the time. But, you know, the fact is that great, Apple was seen as having a lead, and then all the competitors came out, and then nothing seemed to happen with Siri. That Siri apparently, you know, Apple says keeps getting better. I guess they keep adding more stuff to it, but like Amazon sends me an email every week saying, here's what's new with Alexa. Oh, I said her name. Now she'll appear. And that's impressive. And Apple, you know, again, culturally, it's secretive. I'd love for Apple to be out there every week saying, here's how Siri has changed this week and what we're doing to make this better, because it's a cloud service and we can change it all the time. It's not tied to your new iPhone. And Apple just, part of that is just they don't do that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a bad sign, because if they are iterating like that internally, they should communicate it. And by not communicating it, it feels like they're not iterating Siri. And that some of it's perception, but I think some of it's reality. Just look where Siri is now compared to the competition. It's not great. I'm not saying that they can't catch up, and I'm not saying that the competition is perfect, because they really aren't. Like, I was reading HomePod reviews where people were laughing at terrible things the HomePod did when you talk to it. And it was funny because that same day I had a couple catastrophic mistakes on the part of my Amazon Echo. And so it's like, yeah, they're all bad, but you want them to be better. And Apple's is not better.
Yeah. And we also notice only when they're bad, right? Like when my Amazon Echo is turning off and on my lights by my voice, and just playing whatever music from the cloud I want, or when the HomePod is playing that playlist that I put together on Apple Music, like, it's amazing, but I don't think so, oh, that's amazing. We only notice what it doesn't do.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we've got little things in our homes that you can theoretically say, play this song that I've randomly thought of, and it just plays it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy it because you're subscribed to a music service, and you've got a device that listens. On my Echo, I can say, can you play the song that goes, and do some random lyrics, and it will immediately play that song. It's amazing. Like, when these things work, they are spectacular, and I do think that sets them up for frustration when they don't work, because you saw the promise, and then you see where all the cracks are, where it isn't quite right.